27th. And for those that want to know who is this guy here, aka Frankie Flowers. Sorry about that. Just checking on that the audio and everything's working here. Just doing a quick check. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we are good to go, good to grow. So for those that don't know me, yes, indeed, my name is Frank Ferragini, aka Frankie Flowers. Always good if you're just watching right now, just hooking on. If you can just put it in the comment that you guys can hear me, everything's good. Just give me a thumbs up. Perfect, or just a hello. That would be very helpful overall. I come here and try to come here often, usually every week between 5 and 5:30. We're doing it now on Monday. Sue saying hi. So I know everything's going well there. Hi, Sue, as well. I come here really just to inspire, to answer some garden questions, to really kind of get you into the groove, to get you thinking about other things maybe you're not thinking about right now when it comes to the world of gardening, growing things indoors and out, and just getting excited about the upcoming season, of course, being Christmas. Hey, if you're wondering if poinsettias, also if you want to know a little bit of the history of poinsettia or poinsettia, the reason why it has that name is the American ambassador to Mexico was Sir Joel R. Poinsett. And so he was an American ambassador to Mexico that at this time of the year was in Mexico. And at this time of the year, noticed these wonderful plants that were turning vibrant colors when we were having some of the shortest daylight hours ever. And he said, that plant there is neat. So he took that plant and bred it into what we know today as those beautiful array of different varieties of poinsettias that we get to enjoy. And now it's become the #1 selling plant in the entire world. We got some hellos out there today from Penetanguishene. You know what we're going to do is, I think I could even do this too, is we're going to do a little hide here. We can show you guys the chats that are coming in. The comments will display here. So we got the comments. Let's see how this is working. Oh, it's not going to display there. So I guess I can't do the chat overlay. Okay, I thought it was a new thing. We got Marilyn saying, hi, Frankie. Hi to you as well. We got Carol that's saying hi to you from Drummondville, Quebec. Bonjour, mon ami. Let's take a look. My French is awful, by the way. Let's take a look at something that I want to show you guys and I want to talk to you about, because right now we know that today is indeed Cyber Monday, and I've been seeing a whole bunch of things out there in terms of Cyber Monday for everything that you can buy. From even things that we can get buying for the garden, but also things that we can be buying from underwear to flights to everything. Kind of gets crazy over time. But I really want to talk to you guys tonight about growing food indoors. And what I want to show you is just a little quick presentation that I put together here for you about growing food indoors as well. So what I'm going to do is click on present here, and we're going to go for a full screen present. So when it comes to growing food, yes, indeed, growing food outside is pretty easy. If you have sunlight and soil and space, and you have the ability and time to water and give adequate nutrients, and you plant things at the right time of the year in the right location, and you keep an eye out for insects and wildlife, you can grow a tomato, you can grow some lettuce pretty easy. The benefits, of course, of growing food indoors or out is, there's nothing more better than garden fresh, that fresh basil on, a nice little, you can see there, you got some bocconcini cheese, you got some nice little sliced tomatoes on a nice little piece of bread with some olive oil drizzled. Beautiful, that freshness. Studies have proven that if you grow food, kids will eat better. You'll eat better. You'll be more nutritious. Growing food outdoors, actually, if they're community gardens, will create some community bonding. So even though we're going into the dead of winter, we can start to think about maybe community gardening for next year. Of course, we can share what we've grown, and we're also, it's processed. It's a living thing that we can have a lot of fun by doing. Now, when it comes to growing things indoors, the challenge that we have is, #1, light. So especially we were just talking about the poinsettia, and this is how this all ties in. We don't have that much daylight. Right now, I'm in Bradford, Ontario. I look out the window, and the current time right now is just after it's 5:05, and it is dark. It is dark. Meanwhile, in summer, I could be looking outdoors at 9 p.m., and it's still light as day. So light is a challenge growing food indoors, especially during the winter months. Space, of course, is growing food indoors because plants do take space. So that will also become a challenge. A challenge as well in the winter when we have our heaters on, our furnaces on, we reduce the amount of humidity inside our homes, and plants need humidity and thrive with humidity in order to grow. And it's just way easier to grow outdoors. So what are some of the techniques that are used to grow plants indoors? Well, often when they're being grown inside a greenhouse or with an LED lighting system, one of the oldest ways is hydroponics. And hydroponics is where you're actually not planting in soil. You're planting in something that's called a rock wool. And you can see in the picture to the right where the roots are just shooting down. Those roots are submerged into water, beautiful white roots that you can see there. And in that water, there's oxygen that's pumped into the water, and usually done on what's called an ebb and flow table. And then you can actually then within the water itself, put in some nutrient, which is plant food, and we'll have plants that grow. Lettuce, of course, is something that's been grown from hydroponics for a long time, even doing strawberries right now in many locations as well. But this does need space. It does need knowledge of plumbing, electrical, lighting. Can be challenging, but it's not impossible, and you could do it. Now, aquaponics, this is kind of cool. If we take a look at the picture that we have here, and I'll describe it for those that maybe are just listening, to the left in this small greenhouse, we can actually see a big tub of water. Within that tub of water is tilapia. So those tilapia and or many different varieties of fish that could be in there, those fish are actually sitting in the water, they're being fed, they're going to the bathroom, and that exact same water is then being piped up into the plants. So that's nutrient-rich water because that water actually has the fish poo. That fish poo is pure nitrogen, like pure nutrients, forgive me. That gets pumped in. And this is the mechanism where we're taking plant life and fish, aquaponics, together to grow. So this often what you'll actually see is you'll often sometimes see that the fish will be actually underneath the plants growing. The plants are growing on top of where the fish are, and then the fish can even eat the roots. Sounds complex, right? Not going to do that inside your home. Well, what you can do inside your home are what called growing systems. And now these have evolved over the last several years, and probably one of my favorite is the AeroGarden. And I've been doing work with AeroGarden for several years, and Miracle-Gro as well as saw how great this company is and actually invested in. And that's why they're now called the Miracle-Gro AeroGarden. So this is a complete growing unit. So this actually has an LED light. It has water underneath that will have an oxygenator to pump water in. And then as well, you'll get tablets of food, plant food, that the lights will shine when you need to put more plant food in. As well, it'll have an indicator to let you know when you need to add more water in. So this can sit on a table quite easily. I really recommend it for growing things like herbs. I would do mostly basil. I actually do a lot of basil. I would do some oregano. You could do parsley, but sometimes parsley will burn out. You could do cherry tomatoes. You could do lettuce. You can do all those with quite easy way to grow because it has a lighting unit. And the thing about the lighting unit is it will give it the adequate amount of light. It'll actually time it out for you. However, don't put this in a bedroom that you're sleeping in because you won't be able to sleep sometimes because the light will be on. Other ways that we can grow food indoors with quite ease where we don't need any light whatsoever is sprouts. So bean sprouts, many different sprouts can actually even be germinated just within a paper towel, just a moist paper towel, or even a mason jar. You could be germinating sprouts with quite ease. You can do beans, beets, radishes, and much, much more. These are really nutrient rich that can be added to salads and or sandwiches. They're fast, they're easy. You need to be careful because we don't want to see any mold or bacteria or anything. So when we're doing them, we got to make sure that we're sterilizing anything that we're using to make sure that we don't have any bacteria that's sitting around. But it's a great way to grow without light that's quick and fast. The kids can get a lot of benefit from it as well. Hey, romaine, you can take that romaine, you're going to cut that romaine off, and then at the bottom, you may have that little stub. And that there can actually be placed into soil, and you'll have romaine that will sprout. There's just some other things during the winter months where you can be still keeping for reusing next year in your vegetable garden. Eggshells, nice crushed up eggshells, put in the vegetable garden, a nice source of calcium. Coffee grounds can be used. Milk cartons can be used to start seeds later on. And of course, we can use dish soap. Dish soap and water is something we can use against insects which is an insecticidal soap. But my favorite, of course, is Bug Be Gone. Hey, so if you're ever trying to figure out where to get me, check out my website, frankieflowers.com. You can also email me as well, frankie@frankieflowers.com. And of course, we got all these different ways to get together. So I just kind of wanted to share with you just some of the thoughts about growing your own food because it is Cyber Monday. And I have seen lots of sales on the AeroGardens. Great Christmas gift, by the way. And you can see those. I've seen them Canadian Tire. I've seen Walmart. I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen many, many different retailers out there that do have them as well. We got Debbie saying hello from Barrie. Just want to show people what's going on in Barrie. Well, just north of Barrie. Of course, you guys know that if you follow me, my son's really into skiing. So I'll show you what my son just sent to me. He just sent me this right here. Let me see if it's going to come up. No, that's not going to come up. Let me see here. Is that going to come up? Oh, maybe it's not going to come up. Let me see. Let me see if I can share this. I'll see if it pops. Oh, the live stream is not coming up. So I'm not going to. I was going to show you. Actually, what we'll do is we'll go back here, and we're going to go. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. As we're doing things by myself, I'm all by myself, trying to do many, many things. So let's show you guys the web camera. So there's a look at Horseshoe Resort, guys. So if you're wondering what's going on in Barrie, we have snow squalls that are pushing through right now. That's a live look at Horseshoe, where not only is the snow squalls brought some snow, but they got the snow guns out there to get things going. And my son can't wait to ski, I can tell you that. So a shout out to all those that are doing work over there as well at Horseshoe Resort. So Cheryl, she has a question. Frankie, I covered my Pinky Winky standard, which is actually a hydrangea that blooms on new wood, with plastic type of waste bag. Should I cut some holes in it to allow for airflow and moisture? Yes, definitely. Plastic is not necessarily a really good thing to be wrapping with, because it doesn't allow the transition of air to circulate as well, to dry, but as well, plastic sometimes will allow colder temperatures to go through. So just think about putting a plastic bag on top of your head. Not a good idea. So I would love to see what type of yard waste bag was used, but I would actually want to improve circulation from there as well. So we got T-Bone, which is a local farmer here in the Bradford Hollow Marsh that always likes to talk to me about Bradford. Good evening, Frank. Is Bahar greenhouse growing flowers for you still? Antonio Bahar, actually, T-Bone, he is indeed. He's growing Rieger begonias and does still some great. Interesting thing, he had sold his business. It was sold for an investment. He got out of the business, but was so passionate, was so wanting to grow again, he went back into the business of growing again. Cheryl's going to send me a pic, which she's saying to me right now as well. How do I care for a hydrangea in a pot in wintertime? So anytime that we're growing something and we're actually trying to overwinter in a pot, even if you had a couple bags of soil around the base of the pot, just almost lean the soil against the base of that pot for a little bit of extra insulation. It needs to go through a dormancy period, so it should be outside to go through that dormancy period. But we want to make sure that the root mass, the root ball, which is the pot, doesn't freeze too solid. So if you can sink it in the ground, that's the best way for you to do that as well. We got Victoria saying hello today. Hello to you, Victoria, as well. We got Carol, and Carol's got a question as well. My money tree had yellow leaves today. So of course, what we're seeing now is for a lot of plant material indoors may start to appear that it's struggling. First reason why it may be appearing that it's struggling is now that we have shorter daylight hours and we've had a lot of cloud cover, a lot of gray days, plants are not actively growing indoors. They're actually sitting, even though they're green, even though my aloe vera that's just over here to the left of me, my aloe vera that you can see, looks like it's growing, looks like it's green, but that guy there is fairly dormant. So, and if I go to feel the soil with them right now and I put my finger in, I can still feel the soil's moist. So the reason why it could be dropping its leaves is maybe it's overwatered. So allow it to dry out in between watering is really important. If by chance your money tree is near a heating vent and the heat is now coming on at a greater frequency because temperatures are cold, move it away from the heating vent or block the heating vent. That's the other thing. If by chance your house is very dry and your skin feels dry, then I would mist those plants on occasion as well. We got Michelle saying good evening from Windsor, Ontario. Hello from you as well. We got another one here from Samantha about an avocado. I have an avocado tree. I actually grow avocados. It was given to me. Amazing. The avocado, of course, can be grown through the pit that we have when we actually eat avocados. You can actually take that pit and you can put 4 toothpicks into the pit, allowing just the top 1/3 of that pit to sit above water, and you can put it into a cup or in a mason jar and have it float in the water, and we will see the avocado sprout from that pit. And we can grow avocado, but they like to be in a bright west or south facing room, and they want to be in an area where we do have fairly good humidity overall as well. We got G, or Joe, forgive me, I thought this is Joe. I thought it's a G, right? Gotta clean these glasses sometime. Hey, Frankie, was thinking of throwing down some wood chips on the ground around my raised garden beds. What are the positives and negatives of doing that? Well, of course, the wood chips themselves will keep weed growth that are down, so you'll reduce the amount of weeds that you'll have. Wood chips will break down and add to the soil, and actually will help the soil improve over time. However, if the wood chips are new wood chips, meaning that they've just been put through the chipper, what they can do is for the first 3 to 5 months, they'll actually take some nutrient out of the soil. So putting them down now in the fall is a good thing. The benefits are those where you in the growing season, you'll actually have less weeds and you'll be able to maintain moisture. If we put fresh wood chips down on a garden, that let's say a vegetable garden in the spring, in order for those to break down, they actually pull nitrogen from the soil. So sometimes when we put them down, we'll see that they'll actually impede the growth of some plants if they're fairly new wood chips that are out there as well. So a couple other things going on at this time of year. Christmas trees, of course. Now that we're at a month before Christmas, if you're thinking about buying a fresh Christmas tree, you can do it with confidence. The key is before you bring it inside your home, a fresh cut, and that tree has to go into a tree stand that has a large water capacity, and you can never allow it to dry out. Another reminder, block the heating vent. If you have a heating vent where you're putting your Christmas tree, block that heating vent so it's not going to create any other drying on the tree. Miracle-Gro has a wonderful product as well that you can put in the water that will actually help with the longevity of your Christmas tree indoors. LED lights, fantastic. And the new lights are worth it. So if you haven't invested in lights, I would really recommend for you to take a look at some LEDs. Cyber Monday, some sales that are out there. LEDs burn cooler, they burn more efficient. And once one light goes out, the whole strand doesn't go out. So that's really great as well. Christmas greens. If you're thinking about doing urns and urn stuffers outdoors, they should have water in them. If they're not frozen and not frozen solid, if they're in soil, putting some water or watering them on occasion is also something that's very important. My Facebook, you can always go on there for more information, my website as well, but also take a look at Instagram. My current Instagram and even on Facebook Live as well, not my Facebook feed, you'll see some pictures of the Christmas urns, the greens that I recently did at my home, which is really what I did was actually, I'm going to tell you, I was a little bit on the lazy side, and I went and bought some cheaper store-bought just Christmas greens, popped them in, and then I took more greens and filled them a little bit fuller. I actually used some magnolia stems, and then I also used some boxwoods and berry stems and put additional red twig dogwood stems and just a few more white pines to make it look a little bit fuller. And then I put the accessories of some skis in there just to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. But I upscaled something that was less expensive, that was already pre-done to save me some time, and worked out really well as well. So there we go. We're a little bit low on questions today. So you know what? We're almost at 20 minutes right now. Oh, there we go. We got some more questions coming in as well. Let me just see. Cheryl saying she's going to send me a pic that's there as well. So if you wish, throw in the comments any questions that you have. A reminder, this is a community. That community itself is one where we'll answer your garden questions. I think we may actually have to go back to maybe a Sunday evening. I want you to let me know when you would like me to do this live Q&A. I don't know if Mondays at 5 is the best time for many people that are out there. It works for me, but I can always adjust to make sure that it could work for you. So just always a reminder that it's really great that we can always be here to help. Carol Jones has got a question here. Love houseplants, need ideas on where to buy them. Depends on where you live, Carol. Sometimes you'll find some really nice houseplants in your Rona stores, or you can even find them in your Home Depot stores. Sometimes I've seen great houseplants for sale at IKEA, but of course your local garden centers. Bradford Greenhouse's Garden Gallery, that's my family business, so there's a bias. We have a good selection. If you live close to Markham, Valley View Gardens is amazing, like amazing to go for houseplants. So those are some others that are out there. My good friend Bill Kennedy, Utterly Smooth, family business. That's his family business right there. Hi, Frankie. Friends brought back pineapple from Hawaii and shared with us how to grow them. What are the odds we can pull this off? You'll probably get a pineapple, Bill, but the pineapple you'll get won't be like the big pineapple. You'll get more of a smaller ornamental pineapple. The odds are pretty good, pretty good. Remember, Bright Light is super, super good. Supoff says she always gets her tropical plants from a nursery. Of course. So just let you know, with the plants the tropical plants that we bring in, just to give you guys a little bit of insider info. So those tropical plants, for the eastern portions of Canada and the United States, most of the tropical plants that you see for sale come out of Homestead, Florida. Homestead, Florida is located just south of Miami. Those plants, when they're brought to Canada, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency inspects them, and they have to be put in an area of quarantine before they're put out for sale. The reason being is to make sure that those plants are inspected so that there is no invasive insects on them, no disease that can cause harm to other plant material that you may have in your home or around your home, and also inspected that there is no geckos or other things. I've seen tarantulas on some of the plants that I've unloaded. So they're put in quarantine. Sometimes they're fumigated, and then they're put out for sale. So many of the times, those steps that have been put in place are all good for you. So sometimes when people have been ordering cuttings and other things online, and they're coming from places where you don't know, and they're coming to you, just a reminder, they could be bringing in insects, they could be bringing in disease. So the key is when you're buying a plant at a nursery, at anytime you're buying an implant, take a look at it's nice and healthy. Make sure the leaves are nice and green. Make sure the roots are not growing out of the base of the pot. Make sure you're not seeing any insects flying from the soil. Look at the leaves themselves to see if there's any damage, because the key is no matter where you buy your plants, if you buy them starting off healthy, you're going to have great success overall. Janet says, Sunday 10 a.m. is just great. I wish I could do Sunday at 10 a.m. I can't do Sunday at 10 a.m. because my son will want me to take him to the ski hills. Hi, Frankie. We bought a rose tree from Bradford Greenhouses this spring. Do I need to do anything to it so it will survive for the winter? Yes, indeed. That rose tree, and I'm glad that you brought this question up. So a rose tree, you got the single stem, and then you have the bush on the top. Right where that stem point, where they branch out, is a graft point. That's the weakest point. What you can do is you can put 4 posts around your rose tree. Then what I would like you to do, and those 4 posts go up and above the rose tree. Put chicken wire, wrap chicken wire around those posts, and then with clean leaves, stuff that little cylinder that you're going to make out, stuff it with clean leaves so that it goes above that point, and then above the rose, that will be the extra insulation that you need. Sometimes what some people will do is they'll actually unroot the rose tree. They'll dig a trench, forgive me, and they'll lean the rose tree into the trench and cover the trench for the winter, and then lift it out of the trench next spring. I think the leaves is a better way for you to do that. Carol, I have an amazing spider plant got for my sister-in-law's baby shoots. Yeah. So the reason once you'll see a spider plant start to get its baby shoots, that's usually when it's root bound. So as soon as it becomes root bound in the pot, it'll start to push babies out. If you watch my last video that I put on Instagram and also on Facebook, all about the top 3 plants for plant killers, I mentioned pothos, easy plant, spider plant, and ZZ plant, which is Ammofolia. Those are my top 3 plants. If you're a plant killer, those are 3 plants that you got to get. Monday is good. She says, miss me on BT. CJ will be back on BT tomorrow. If you want to know what I did on my time off, I was off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I decorated my home. I did my Christmas urns. I did a couple workouts, which is really good. I went for a nice dinner. And I cleaned my oven. I'm a party animal, I tell you. But it needed to be done. Sometimes stuff needs to be done. We got Matthew Amos giving us a shout out tonight too, saying, hey, Frank. Matthew Amos, of course, is a person who collects autographs from everybody around. I have a question for you, Frank. I sent an email from Meredith Shaw. Can you forward to Meredith Shaw to ask her for an autograph? I can do that for you as well. That's it, guys. So I think we've blown through the bulk of the questions that are happening out there. I'm just going to see. We got Mary Stewart that's saying good work. Hey, a couple other things that I want to give you guys a little bit of insider information as well is that tomorrow, myself, along with the team of Bradford Greenhouse Garden Gallery, some of the designers, we work together to design a beautiful Christmas tree that we will be installing tomorrow at Casa Loma in Sir Henry Pellet's room. Sir Henry Pellet was the gentleman who actually built Casa Loma as a private residence. And I've been asked to design a tree along with a few other designers in other rooms across Casa Loma. So you can actually go and see Christmas at the castle, which is amazing. A little bit of something that I was told, which is kind of cool as well, is my mom tells me that on her side, so my dad's Italian, his name's Tony, that's the Ferragine side. My mom is Irish Scottish. So on my mom's side, my mom's name's Alice. My great-great-uncle, my great-great-uncle was the architect for the old City Hall in Toronto and was also one of the architects on Casa Loma. Full circle moment right there. Your great-great-uncle designed a building that tomorrow I will be designing a tree for. Cool, eh? Sandra, she's saying, and your Christmas decoration pictures for your house on Instagram look fabulous. Thank you so much. We got Sue saying, thank you as well. Have a great week. I will. And then we got Carol who says, I worked at White Rose Nurseries years ago, indoor plant department. Carol, fantastic. Maybe you worked with my good friend, Kathy Moon or Tony Lizzi as well, which are good friends of mine as well that used to work there. So, okay, guys, I'm going to head off right now. I got to make dinner for Gavin tonight. It's going to be Progi night. Going to give you all the info. I'll see you guys next week. And maybe what we'll do is if you guys can take a time in the comments, just put what day would work best for you, what evening and or morning, either a weekend morning or which evening would work best for you and a time. That would be very helpful for me because, man, I want you guys to get the best value out of this and to enjoy as well. So for all those that tuned in today, have a great day. I'll see you later. Keep blooming. See you tomorrow morning on Breakfast Television. Bye for now.